Joining us for an all-out discussion about United City and Kaya in the AFC Champions League is none other than Sports Desk football analyst Cedelf Tupas, who is joining us live from California in the U.S. right now. Welcome to the new Sports Desk, Cedelf Tupas. Ced?
Thank you so much, Dre. I'm so glad to be back. It's great. Very refreshing to see you again, and of course, seeing the brand new Sports Desk.
Thank you for being with us here, Ced, even if you're there in the U.S. right now. How big is it that we have not one, but two Filipino teams in the AFC Champions League, Cedelf?
Well, it's huge for Philippine football. Very historic, because we only expected one club to be there, which is United City FC. But just before the tournament kicked off, the main group stages kicked off, Kaya FC Iloilo joined them. And it was at the expense of a Chinese club, Shanghai, but an amazing achievement in itself for Philippine football. And the club itself, Kaya FC Iloilo, has had a very rich history in Philippine football. But overall, it is another remarkable achievement. But again, it's a challenge for every one of us here in the football community, because it has to translate into a better situation overall in Philippine football. Better infrastructure, better organization, of course, an even better league, particularly the PFL. It's very rare, despite all the odds, that a club, a league like the PFL, which is not struggling a little bit with support, and of course with the pandemic and all, very difficult to push through, that there are actually two clubs playing in the AFC Champions League.
Yes.
And that in itself is obviously a great achievement for Philippine football, everyone involved.
Huge achievement, like what you said. Not just one, but two teams ang nasa AFC Champions League. Of course, Kaya making their AFC Champions League debut, but it was a bittersweet start here for the Iloilo-based squad. Parang a warm welcome of sorts, or welcome to the big stage, as they lost to BG Pathum United of Thailand 4-1 on Saturday. How did Kaya look, in your opinion, in their first game? Tingin mo ba first game jitters lang to, or ganun kagaling yung kalaban nila from Thailand?
Well, the BG Pathum, although they are actually a new team in the Champions League, it's also their first game as a club. Okay. It is filled with very good players, veteran players. You see there, Tegasil Dangda, the one who scored, the Thai international, one of the most prolific strikers in Southeast Asia, probably in the history of Thai football. And Yogali Santo, who already played in the Champions League for JDT of Malaysia. So Kaya was really in for a rude welcome against BG Pathum, and it did not help that Simone Rota absorbed a red card in the first half, so that really gave Kaya all sorts of problems. It is always going to be a tough task for Kaya, and you have to imagine also the long layoff that the club has gone through, because yung liga natin was played last year pa, and BG Pathum actually finished their season just a month ago. So medyo fresh pa itong BG Pathum, and the Thai clubs have huge ambitions in the Champions League, and Kaya, they are there. They're not there. What matters to me now is the way they play their matches, and regardless of the result, because this is actually one of the toughest groups in the Champions League, kung saan ang Kaya ngayon.
Yeah, thank you for saying rude welcome. Di warm, rude welcome nga. Pero sabi mo nga in Thailand, mainit pa dahil syempre they just finished their season, I think a month ago. Kaya's next game naman, Cedelf, is tomorrow against Vietel FC of Vietnam. Now, moving forward, Ced, how can Kaya FC bounce back from that first game loss, and what adjustments do you think should they make?
Well, it is, again, a difficult match. Vietel is the champions of Vietnam na nakita natin really pushed their first game, nahirapan yung Korean club against them, and then they only conceded in the last minute of the match. So you know that this team is no joke, and alam mo naman yung Vietnamese football has been on the rise over the past few years. Their national team has been very successful, and Viettel has a lot of talented Vietnam internationals sa kanilang team. So Simone Rota is out. So it will be up to the Kaya staff to really tweak some things there sa kanilang campo. You might see some a change, of course, kasi wala nga Simone Rota. Camilo Tacosalme might be inserted into the starting 11, or Masa Umura might move back to central defense. So there might be some tweaks there, but what matters to me now for Kaya is recovery from a grueling match against BG Patum, and now they're in for another rough outing against Viettel.
Kaya, Viettel, and BG Pathum United are in Group F together with Ulsan Hyundai FC of Korea. Kaya will face each of their group mates twice. Take a look at their group on your screens right now. May pag-asa ba si Cedelf ang Kaya to move forward considering the group that they're in, especially with BG Pathum there, Viettel, and then Ulsan Hyundai FC?
Medyo mahirap, Dre. Let's face it. This is a different level. BG Patum with all their Thai internationals there. Viettel with all their Vietnamese internationals also in their team. And Ulsan Hyundai, the Korean club is no stranger to this level. So Kaya, baptism of fire muna sila.
Yo.
And we'll see how they fight. No, what matters to me now is their performances. The scoreline, I won't worry about it. But the way they play, every minute, just working hard and representing Philippine football the best way possible. So yun ang importante sa akin. As far as results, medyo mahirap mag-expect at this moment.
Well, at least they got their feet wet. I like what you used there, baptism of fire. Well, sabi nga natin kanina, Cedelf, besides Kaya FC, United City FC is also competing in the AFC Champions League. So stay where you are, said, because after the break, we'll talk about the reigning kings of the Philippines Football League. But first, we'll have our Sports Desk football analyst, Cedelf Tupas, who is joining us live from the U.S. right now. He's in California. I believe he's shopping in a mall. But we're talking about two Filipino teams competing in the AFC Champions League. Earlier, we discussed about Kaya FC. Now let's talk about United City FC. Said a draw against Beijing Guan FC on Saturday. How did United look in their first game of the group stage for you?
Well, I was actually very impressed with the way they held possession for long periods. It was not the result that they liked. Actually, I with the lineup that Beijing brought out for this competition, they filled it with a lot of youth players, not the first team players because of the travel restrictions in China. So second team halos yung pinadala dito ng Beijing, and the United City dominated possession. They had a lot of chances, but their inability to finish those chances really did them in. And that foul committed late in the second half, leading to that wonderful free kick from Liang Xiaowen was just really a bummer, to say the least. Ang ganda sana ng pinakita nila, especially Stefan Schrock, who once again led by example, a very spectacular performance again from the United City FC and Aska's captain. So it was a great result kung titingnan mo in the greater scheme of things. But if you're United City, I'm pretty sure they would have wanted more from this game.
You mentioned Stefan Schrock already, scoring that first goal for the team. His confidence just really, he's just so poised on the pitch. Can you remind us, said, how important is Stefan Schrock is to this United City FC?
Well, not just United City, but to Philippine football. He's actually a national treasure at the moment.
Agree.
Can you imagine Schrocky? He's been with the Ascal since May last month, and goes, plays all 3 matches, all 90 minutes of those 3 matches in World Cup qualifying, and jumps straight into the camp of United City, hardly skipping a beat, hardly taking a break,
yes.
And then leads them to their first ever AFC Champions League appearance and scores in their first AFC Champions League appearance. So, ang hirap paniwalaan how this guy keeps going even at his age. No, he's just irrepressible. No,
Yes.
and now irreplaceable at the moment with United City and of course the Ascas. Ang parang naisip mo parang where would we be right now without Rocky, because he's been the shining light of Philippine football in these past few years.
Well, based on that match, kung wala si Shraki, wala, talo tayo. 1-0. Meantime, said, timeout muna tayo saglit. Kasi ngayon said, it's time to find out the answer to our quiz question of the day. Again, the question is, which teams have won the most titles in the AFC Champions League? Said, did you hear the quiz question of the day? Maybe you want to guess? I'm sure alam mo to.
Medyo mahirap. Feeling ko Korean team.
Feeling mo Korean team?
Feeling ko Korean team. Hindi ko lang feeling ko lang Korean team.
Well said, the answers are Saudi Arabia's Al Hilal and the Pohang Steelers from South Korea. So you are correct.
I got one right. At
Yes,
least I got one right.
yeah. Both clubs actually
my-
have 3 AFC Champions League titles each. Yes, said, you're saying.
My credibility would have been in question.
Yes, and we wouldn't be calling you again. I'm kidding. Said United City is in Group I together with Beijing Guan FC, Kawasaki, front tail of Japan, take a look, and Daegu FC of Korea, matitindi. Now, which United City will face tomorrow night, by the way, in Daegu? How does United City stack up against this group right now? What are their chances, realistically, of moving forward here in the Champions League?
Well, just like Kaya, this is going to be a very tough group, but I think United City is a better team than the squad that Beijing put out in that group. So Daegu and Kawasaki Frontale, you have to remember Daegu beat Kawasaki Frontale the other day after nung laro ng United City and Beijing. So you expect an even difficult task to beat Daegu in match day 2. Kawasaki is coming into that tournament on a high, no, sa Japanese league. Halos walang talo itong team na to. So J League 1 is a different level altogether if you're playing in the PFL, but this is the Champions League. We have to remind everyone that hindi madali lahat ng games dito. So I see them finishing third, but with some luck and probably na makakuha sila ng mga resulta. They need a result against Daegu and Kawasaki. So again, just like Kaya, yung expectations are not very high, but ang gusto ko lang makita dito is that they show what Philippine football is all about, and the way they play the right way, and of course raise the stock of Philippine football in the AFC Champions League. No, show that you deserve to be there. So yun nga, expect a hard game on all of these matches. May return leg pa sila ng Beijing, so it could be a chance to get full 3 points in that game sa susunod. But for everyone in Philippine football, we're already proud that United City and Kaya are there in the group stages.
Of course, we have 2 teams in the AFC Champions League. We talked about Shraki. We all know that UCFC has Shraki, but what adjustments could United City make to increase their chances of moving on and actually winning this really tough competition, said?
Well, they have to be very compact and composed and disciplined defensively, not to allow Daegu, not to concede against Daegu, and take their chances. They did not take their chances against Beijing, and that's not going to be good enough against stronger teams like Daegu and Kawasaki. So, expect you want Bienvin Marañon to find his scoring boots again. So,
yes.
yun ang mga kailangan mag-deliver dito for United City FC.
Well said. You're like Shraki. You haven't lost a beat as well. Enjoy your time there in the U.S. I know you're with your family. Send my regards. But thank you again, Ced, for joining us here on Sports Desk. One and only Sports Desk football analyst, Cedelf Tupas.